Hi. So I'm sorry for the audio, but I bought this DJI Mic Mini, and of course, like every product of DJI, you need an adapter because otherwise it's not a DJI product. So shout out to DJI, you trash. How did we go from this to this? From this to this? And from this to this? I mean this. In the last decade, we are witnessing downfall all over the place. Mike Tyson, Will Smith, Call of Duty, Will Smith, the Hack to a Go. Well, nobody really cares about that. But there's one in particular that it's plain as day and that people actually care about. Disney. And today we'll try to understand what went wrong while I eat these beautiful burgers and fries. Oh yeah. If you were born around 2000, you've been lucky enough to experience the golden era. I remember growing up with Pirates of the Caribbean and that fantastic Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. Sorry, Captain Jack Sparrow. Carry me into this world full of mysteries, alliances, epic battles. I mean, the soundtrack alone is what pushed me to play piano for the very first time, because I completely fell in love with it. And to this day, when it plays, I get those goosebumps every time. Look at that. I genuinely cared about Jack and Bill and Elizabeth because these characters were written well, but even more important, they had an arc. Jack started from being a sly and self-centered bastard, ready to use anyone around him in order to obtain the only thing he wanted in life, the Black Pearl. And Bill Turner was just a schmuck, ready to sell with him just to save his loved one, Elizabeth. As we go along with the trilogy, we see the characters influencing each other. At the point where, at the end of the second movie, Elizabeth sacrifices Jack to save her ass and the cruise, and Jack sacrifices the very thing he used to only care about, the Black Pearl. And also the fucking bad guys were bad guys for a reason. Captain Barbossa wasn't just like, oh, I'm a bad guy, I want the power, I'm a bad guy. Him and his crew were afflicted by a curse that made them unable to feel any kind of human pleasure. So that's a pretty good point. But that's not a video about Pirates of the Caribbean. During the prime of Disney, we had plenty of movies that presented these aspects. Movies that were full of heart, like The Lion King, Monsters Inc., Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, Hook, Finding Nemo, WALL-E, Ratatouille, all that without mentioning the great classic like Beauty and the Beast, White Snow, Aladdin, Tarzan, and so on and so on. And so, how did this huge downfall happen? Well, I think the best way to describe it is two words: greed and exploitation. So one day Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, decided profits were not enough. And can we blame him, guys? It was only $40 billion a year. So he decided to buy any company from here to Proxima Centauri. We're talking about a spending spree that would make the Menendez brothers look like they were grocery shopping. 2006, they bought Pixar for 7.4 billion, with the same ease with which I buy pizza. 2009, Marvel, 4 billion. 2012, Lucasfilm, aka Star Wars, same price. 2017, they finally trapped the 21st Century Fox for 71. That enabled them to expand their content library with shows like Avatar, X-Men, The Simpsons. And last but not least, they bought BAMTech for 1B, forming the foundation for Disney+. So, if we do the math correctly, we end up, without a doubt, with a fuck ton of money. But, as my grandma used to say, did you eat something, sweetheart? I mean, money is not everything. Because you see, one thing is to buy the whole world, and one thing is to run the whole world. Let's just say that in the process, they took Star Wars, a saga that was aging like fine wine, and they made it age like Benjamin Button or Stephen Hawking. Because Disney is not a studio anymore. It's an ATM machine. They try to sell as much as possible while spending as little as possible. And so the only target became expanding the audience. And they asked themselves, how can we expand the audience to infinity and beyond? The answer is very simple, guys. Trying to please everyone. And so every Disney movie from now on became interesting and captivating like a Taylor Swift song. With the only difference, a Taylor Swift song doesn't last that much. Luckily. If we were used to a playful and daring Peter Pan from 1953, or the absolutely iconic one played by Robin Williams in Hook, which were both the symbol of a never-ending youth, now we have to deal with this crap Peter Pan and Wendy, where Peter is reduced to nothing more than a symbol of patriarchy, despite being a fucking child, only because he has a penis. And Wendy, that was always sweet and almost a motherly figure to the darling children, now being an independent Nazi feminist that hates love and can be seen as a motherly figure. Because apparently, being a motherly figure nowadays means you're a bitch. Oh, Disney, they are kids! And so Peter, at the end of every adventure, is constantly reminded that he only managed to do what he does thanks to the help of female characters. Only because they are female characters, and it couldn't be more obvious. If you take a look at the Pirates crew, it looks like a Benetton commercial. I mean, they literally pick every ethnicity on the planet Earth to include anyone, and it looks fake as fuck. And to make it even more politically correct, those pirates, they don't even drink rum. I mean, they drink tea. Yeah, because kids nowadays are so impressionable that they can't see a pirate drinking rum. But they are perfectly fine when it comes to watch Charlie Kid getting shot in public or the latest OnlyFans model showing her coochie. And here we come back to the second word of the day, exploitation. Yes, because there's nothing better than to exploit and twist noble causes like feminism or minorities and human rights trying to sell more tickets. For example, guys, casting a black actor just because he's black doesn't make you a human rights ambassador. It makes you a piece of shit. The way I see it is a huge lack of respect towards the actor and towards all the people who truly fight for equality and equal recognition every day. Instead of building new stories with interesting characters of different ethnicity, it's easier to take a black actress and make her play Ariel or Tinkerbell. Because you know everybody's gonna riot on social media and talk about it. Disgusting. Not the Pepsi, that's delicious. And the other huge problem of this decade is the lack of imagination. From 2010 to 2023, we had a total of 14 live actions. 14 live actions. Alice in Wonderland, Maleficent, Cinderella, The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, another Maleficent, Cruella, Mulan, White Snow, Peter Pan and Wendy, and The Little Mermaid. Enough. Enough. Apart from Alice in Wonderland, which I generally like, none of those movies are valid or report something new to the original stories. If anything, they take away the magic we were used to as children, with plot holes bigger than Elon Musk's addiction to the big K. They didn't have the balls to cast people affected by dwarfism to play the seven dwarfs. Instead, they gave us this. What is this? And the prince doesn't exist. Now we have Robin Hood from Timo. But I guess that's their goal, to deform the narrative, because apparently the classic were
weird. So we didn't do that this time.
You know what else is weird? that despite all the change of narrative, Disney lost $150 million with Snow White. 130 millions for Mulan. 150 millions for Dumbo, because people are not Dumbo. I wanted to say that. Eventually, people, they realize every single product you release is dog shit. So either you leave the bar or you die. Guys, the examples are endless, but I don't want this video to be too long and boring. It's not a Disney movie. I know it's a bit sad, but at the end of the day, we can always go back and watch the movies that we grew up with. And I'm just really a little bit sad for all the kids nowadays that have to grow up in this black hole that has become Disney. Bro, these fries are too good to be sad. So that being said, thanks for watching the video. See ya.